Hi guys. So let me turn my radio down a little bit. Sorry. So it is Tuesday, December 5th. It is 4:05 in the afternoon. It looks like it is, oh, I don't know, 6, because it is dark and cloudy and looks like we've got some weather coming in. Now, I will say this, it is 55 degrees, so anything that comes in now is going to be rain. We're in Maryland, but from what I understand, we've got something coming this weekend, which I've heard Thursday, Friday, Saturday, one of those days. Now Thursday, our kids have a 2-hour early dismissal, so we have a PD on that day, which means a professional development. So notoriously, this particular professional development has been snowed out in the past, so I'd be okay with that. Actually, something like a couple of years ago, I had looked up some statistic that said for 10 years in Maryland, it had snowed, at least lightly flurried, on December 5th, I think. So today's December 5th, we're not getting flurries, we're gonna get some rain. But I wouldn't mind having them cancel Friday. Friday is parent-teacher conferences. So if they did cancel them, I would take my 6 conferences that I have, or 7, whatever it is, and reschedule them, and it would not be that big of a deal to me, but I could totally use the Friday off, especially since my husband has a nice big truck. So a little bit of snow, as long as the stores aren't closed, wouldn't stop me from getting out and doing whatever we got to do for Christmas. Anyway, so enough to talk about weather. Let's move on to a couple of things. Number one, I am so excited this morning because, or this afternoon, I'm sorry, because, so last night, Norm and I talked about his day on Weight Watchers, being his very first day on Weight Watchers tracking. He was paper tracking. So he really, he did really well. And towards the end of the night, as I was kind of thumbing through my app, trying to figure out, like, what else did he need, to know, he said, you know what? Just download the app for me. And I was like, are you kidding? And he's like, no, go ahead. So it ended up being a month free anyway, so we won't have to, because he did the 6 month. So he won't have to worry about it until January anyway, which is after Christmas, which is kind of the thing he was going to do anyway, was wait till after Christmas. So that ended up being perfect. Because I set up his app, I know his password and whatnot. So I looked at his app around breakfast time, and he had tracked his breakfast. So I was really excited about that. So this afternoon, I will probably have to track his lunch and maybe his dinner for him, because he's just not that great with the app yet, but he'll get it. My day so far, because we had a field trip today, I had 1 point for breakfast. My egg cup with my my chicken sausage was 1 cup. Oh, I'm sorry, was 1 point. And for lunch, because we had lunch so early this morning, my kids had lunch at 10:15, which is right in the same time that I usually have breakfast. When they came back from their field trip, I let them have a snack, and I didn't want to eat like a wrap and a salad in front of them, and I really wasn't all that hungry anyway. So I went ahead and had some fruit, quite a bit of fruit. I had like a clementine, but the clementine was like this big, a very small apple, and like a cup of grapes. So it really wasn't that bad. And then I had some popcorn for 5 points. So I've used a total of 6 points today, which, having only 23 points freaks me out a little bit. But I did have 4 rollovers from yesterday. So the rollover thing I'm a little excited about. So one of the things that Norm and I were talking about yesterday, so he gets more points than we thought he did. Right now he's got like 46 points. We were only giving him 40 to begin with, because remember, we were going to try to do this for a month with him just trying it out, using my app as like a base. but now he's a full-fledged like member. So he used, he had something crazy like 20 points left over yesterday when he was done. So, and he said, I asked him, was he hungry? And he said no. So what he is missing is snacks. So he is a snacker. He used to eat a full Hershey bar, which, okay, if you're going to get a Hershey bar, who doesn't eat a full Hershey bar, right? But he also was real big on a couple of tasty cakes, right? So we looked up some of his snacks that he used to eat, tasty cakes, Hershey bars, things like that. Now, Hershey bars, he got real good at eating just one. And I told him yesterday, I was like, look, if you end up with 20 points at the end of the day, have a Hershey bar. I mean, you have the points, have the Hershey bar. So he may end up doing that. Now, Norm's problem was he would go all day long without eating and then come home, eat 2 or 3 servings of whatever I made for dinner, which was usually pretty healthy and low in points, so I wasn't too worried about that, but then eat an entire box of tasty cakes, or at least half a box of tasty cakes, or cookies, or ice cream, or something. So he keeps saying to me, but I'm eating more food now than I was eating before, which is probably true in volume, but the food he's eating now that he's eating through the day is food that will keep him fueled. For example, the proteins I'm giving him, and we're trying to retrain his metabolism so that when he comes home at night, he has, like yesterday, he had 2 plates of what I made for dinner, but it was chicken, asparagus, and little roasted potatoes. So like it was 7 points for the potatoes, and nothing else really had any points to it because I just marinated the chicken in mustard. So, you know, so he didn't really have anything, but so it's like 14 points for his dinner and still ended up with like 20 points left over. So, you know, he's going to be fine. I give him a 4-point breakfast sandwich every day. He has about 2 points for his coffee, we figured out, because I finally got him to switch to sugar-free Italian sweet cream and just putting that in and no sugar or anything else. And so far he's been okay. Even if he put a tablespoon or so, or a teaspoon or so of sugar in, he'd still be okay. But anyway, so he's got a 4-point breakfast sandwich that I make him every morning, which he has said now day 2. He said, I love having coffee and my breakfast sandwich on my way to work. So he eats it in the car on his way to work. He said, I love that. So that's going to be really good for him, I think. It's going to keep him kind of at a regular blood sugar throughout the day. I gave him tuna, veggie straws, and several fruits for lunch. Now his tuna only works out to be about 3 points because he has an Olay wrap for 1. He has the tuna salad, which is a little bit of light mayo in it, not very much, for 2. And then the veggie straws, which are 4. So that's 4, 5, 6 for lunch. My thought is, and I talked to him about this, I may actually give him 2 wraps because the wraps are would be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 points, right? And then 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it would be about 9 points for him for lunch, and he would be a little fuller. But when I asked him, he said, no, I was actually full enough on what you gave me. And then by the time he got home, he wasn't starving, but he was hungry. So now we did have dinner later last night because he was late coming home from work. So he didn't have dinner till, gosh, I want to say like 7. So that was kind of late for him. We usually eat around 5, 5:30. So I don't know. Like, I think this is going to work for him. He's convinced that he's eating more food than he ever has, and it's just going to not work. So I am hoping that this works for him because I really want him to succeed on this program. I am so married to this program now that I push it on people. I've become a pusher. So I have 3 people in my family now. Me, Amber, and Norm are all on Weight Watchers, and it is working. It's working for me. I'm almost at 40 pounds lost, and Amber's losing weight. Now, Amber's not a big scale watcher, but you can see it in her face. You can see it in the clothes she's wearing. You can see it in the way she carries herself. I was talking to her today and she said non-scale victory for her. She said, I turned down a cupcake that I really wanted. I talked to her about like, well, you know, just make your points low. She said, I'm less about making low good point decisions than I am about making bad points work into my weekday. And I don't think she's as bad as she thinks she is. She eats a lot of vegetables. And so, you know, she's fine. But she's clearly losing weight. I need to get her a scale. I think if she doesn't get a scale soon, I'm going to buy her a scale for Christmas. Which that's terrible, but I would still buy her one because she needs one. But anyway, so I really want this to work for him. It scares me a little bit because when I have now upped my protein in the morning, so before I was eating egg whites, and I was eating like a quarter cup of them. I'd say it now, I'm probably at maybe a half cup of egg whites. Haven't switched over to all egg yet because I still had egg whites to get rid of, to use up. But I'm using probably about a half a cup of egg whites. And guys, I am full. Like when I'm done eating that and then I have like a clementine, because I always have that as like the sweet after, or an apple or something, I'm full. I went all day today. I mean, I had the popcorn because I wanted it, not because I was hungry. I went through a meeting today with nothing. Non-scale victory right there. And I had people eating around me. Have my water, which yes, I know that I'm still putting Mio in this, but I'm drinking like 100 ounces of water a day. Not even, yeah, 20, 40, 60, 80, yeah, like 100 ounces of water a day, which is, you know, I was barely getting through one of these a day before. So the Mio's helping. Yes, I know Mio's not fabulous for me, and maybe someday I'll stop drinking the Mio, but for now, Mio is putting the water in my body, and I'm cleansing with the water, and you know, they say you can judge whether or not you're hydrated based on the color of your urine, and mine has been what the color it's supposed to be. So it's clearly working. So I'm not going to knock it right now. I may go down a little bit more, and sometimes I find myself like drinking the Mio and it tastes so good that I just keep drinking it. So it can't be that bad. But also, I'm also finding that with the Mio, I'm craving the water when I'm feeling like, you know, when you get sick and you want juice. Putting a dab extra Mio in there when my throat's feeling scratchy, or I just have that I want juice feeling, totally works for me. I don't like all the Mio flavors. I have one that I really, really like, and it is the raspberry lemonade. And I will buy 3 or 4 of them every time I go to the store. And I use about 2 a week, but I'm using them in every water almost, and I have one at work and one at home. And then I also bought some Fit and Active ones this week, which say they have calories in them. But when I scanned them, they came up 0. They came up 0 points. So, and then I went all the way up. I like just kept going and it didn't add points. So I'm going to use those a little more sparingly because I find that the Fit and Active flavor enhancers are a little, have a little more punch to them. I got a fruit punch flavor, and I'll tell you why. I kind of felt like I was having, like I was getting ready to get sick. Like I had a little dry throat the other day and a little stuffy nose, and I know that I wanted like a fruit punch to get through that, and I thought that would work with 0 points, and it ended up not coming, I guess. Maybe I was having like an allergy or dust or something, but so I was happy about having those, and I just have the variety. Norm got one. He actually picked the purple one, which I don't like, which works out perfect because he'll use the purple one, and I have a purple one at work that I have at work because I took it to work when I knew I didn't like it, but I just wanted to have something there to, you know, because I never wanted to be without it. So I might take that home and put it back on the shelf and give him like another one because he likes it and I don't, and that's okay. But my Mio has really become like some people's cigarettes because they have to have them all the time. I carry a Mio with me almost all the time. Although I will say when we go out to dinner, I often treat myself with a Diet Coke or an iced tea with no sweetener. So you know, and I look at that and I say, you know, I have my Diet Coke, and I normally have one, maybe two tops. And it's sweet enough for my dinner, for whatever I'm eating, and I move on. I never have Diet Coke or, well, I do have iced tea sometimes at home, but very rarely. But I never have Diet Coke at home. Even when we have it, I will never pour myself a glass of it at home. I don't know why. I also, a little trick for me when I first started Weight Watchers, just a little kind of mind trick for me, was I would put the Mio, and at the time I had a red Mio that I ended up not really actually liking all that much, but I would take the red Mio, I would pour it in my container like this with ice, and then I would pour it out into a wine glass. So I would have my wine stemmed glass. I love a stemmed glass. I'm just a stemmed glass snob. And I would drink the wine, or out of the wine glass. And in my head, I guess I was looking at it, it was red, it was in my wine glass, I must be drinking red wine, and I never craved wine really. Now I have recently been wanting champagne. I really love champagne, and I love wine, and I feel like lately I've been craving it. One of the reasons I stopped drinking wine was because it gave me heartburn. But now that I've lost almost 40 pounds, I'm thinking about adding it back in occasionally, because 23 points isn't very many, and wine, if I drink a bottle of wine, which I very rarely drink a glass of wine, I want a bottle. Same with champagne. If I open the bottle, I have to drink it, because I don't want champagne the next day or a week later because the bubbles are gone. So, I mean, that you're looking at the kind of champagne I drink and the kind of wine I drink, both 18 points for the whole bottle. So 18 out of 23, that's a lot. But I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking that most nights, because I have so much chicken and shrimp and fish and whatnot, that I'm going to have 4 rollover points almost every night. And when I don't, I don't. But, you know, that's awesome. So on the weekends, and I think that's kind of the point of this, and at least in my head, that's the point of this, is that a lot of us struggle on weekends, or we splurge on weekends, or we treat ourselves on weekends. I don't want to call it a cheat, but we treat ourselves on weekends. So we end up, because we've done so good all week, you know, Monday through Friday, I have not splurged, or I have not cheated or treated or whatever, that when we get to the weekend, I say, oh, I have all of these weeklies, I'm just going to go ahead and use them, and I end up sometimes using even more than I should. Now, I've never gone negative, but I have gotten real close. I've gotten down to like 2 weeklies, and I think sometimes you need to do that, because I think sometimes when, because I found before when I was working with a trainer, and what would happen is I would be perfect on this. She would give me a diet. Oh my God, guys, it would, like, breakfast you will have this, lunch you will have this, you know, dinner you will have this, you will have this for a snack. And it was so restrictive, number one. Number two, I was eating the same stuff over and over. I couldn't have a burger with a bun if I wanted it. Like, I could have a burger, but it couldn't have a bun. My chicken had to be plain. You know, if I had a salad, I could only put like lemon juice on it. I mean, it was so restrictive. I couldn't have certain fruits. But then I could have all the watermelon I wanted, you know, so I would find myself like getting this watermelon and eating an entire watermelon in one day, because I just felt like it was the only thing I could have. But anyway, that's a different story. But what I was finding on that is I would go all week and do perfect. I'd get to weigh in and I would either stay the same, or I would not lose, or I'd gain, or, but if I went out on a Saturday and I splurged, oftentimes a little bit, because she'd give me one cheat meal a week. If I had that cheat meal, I'd lose that week. So I know sometimes my body needs that shock of sugar, or that shock of fat that helps me to lose. And I think for me, that's why Weight Watchers works for me, because I don't have to wait until the night before weigh-in to have that shock of sugar or that fatty food. And I don't have to have a whole bunch of it. I don't have to go and eat a bucket of fried chicken. I can have, you know, a couple of mozzarella sticks if I want, which all of a sudden I'm craving them, by the way. Never crave those usually, but all of a sudden I'm craving mozzarella sticks. But anyway, you know, the Weight Watchers program works for so many reasons and on so many levels for me that someone said the other day, I think it was Julie on Living Large on Weight Watchers. I told you guys, Julie and Jess from Weight Watchers Journey to Healthy, which I think she's changing her channel name to My Journey to Healthy, but I'm not sure. The Motivated Muffins. Oh my gosh, I know there's like a couple. The Diva and the Divine. There's a couple I'm missing. Sorry. I'll try to link them in the bottom. I always forget to do that. But they have become. They don't even know this because they don't know I exist, right? I comment on their stuff once in a while, and when they answer me back, I'm like, oh, a rock star answered me, right? But when they have become my meeting, you know? So, I know, oh gosh, I cannot think of her name. She goes and she, goes to her meeting, and then she brings the booklet, and she goes through the booklet. And for me, it's like I'm at a meeting, and then she tells me what she struggled with, and then I come on here and I tell you what I've struggled with, and it's like a meeting. And I really think that vlogging every day, I think I'm using that term correctly, vlogging, right? Every day, is keeping me accountable. Paying for the app is keeping me accountable. Oh, so my family member, I have a family member, I don't want to say who she is, but my family member has started a Weight Watcher, not Weight Watchers, a weight loss Facebook page. Now, she does a totally different program, and she's a representative of that program, but she is all-encompassing, lets anyone come onto the page to encourage each other. She asked today, what is some of your dieting tips? Mine was, you have to eat. You have to eat. You can't starve yourself all day and then have a big meal at night and expect your body to be okay with that. That's what Norm was doing, you know? Now, once in a while, Thanksgiving, I know that we're not supposed to do that, but I do that. Christmas, I might do that. If I know I'm going out to a big dinner that night, I might have 0 points food all day. Now, instead of starving myself like I used to, I mean, now I can have eggs and still be 0 points, you know? So that'll probably change for me. But that's my big one. You have to eat. You will screw up your metabolism if you don't, and it takes a while to get it back. But Amber's is also on that. Amber's also on that Facebook page. And her answer, I'm telling you, almost brought tears to my eyes. She said, pay for the app. Because if you pay for the app, it keeps you honest. Because her and I had this conversation about, we both have used MyFitnessPal, and I love MyFitnessPal, you know, I did. And I used it faithfully for a really long time. But the problem with MyFitnessPal is I never really knew how many calories I should and shouldn't be eating. And if I ate 2,000 calories a day of cheesecake and then I just didn't eat anything else, was that good enough? And I know it told you a bunch of other stuff, but, you know, and then I didn't have any wiggle room. So if I did that or I went over, you know what I mean? Like, I was terrible and I felt horrible about myself and whatever. So what I started to do is I started to look at my portions and say, okay, I'm eating a cup of rice. And I go, maybe that was only a half a cup. And I'd go in, and so I could like fudge my numbers. No one was checking it. No one was going in behind me and saying, oh, let me look at your FitnessPal. It wasn't happening, but I was still doing it. Now that I'm paying for it, and it's 20 bucks a month is what I pay. You know, now that I'm doing it online, why would I lie about it? Why would I lie about it? It's not going to work if I lie about it, right? And I'm doing my points, and it's become a game. And I'm so competitive. I'm an Aries, so I'm so competitive that I try to see, you know, how well can I eat in a day and not use points. So I know that Weight Watchers are very big on the blue dot. And it's something Norm and I are going to have to talk about, because he is not going to hit his blue dot most days because he's going to be under. So I know that that's something him and I are going to have to talk about how we get him more food. And maybe, and what I said to him, and I don't know if you guys had the same experience with this or not, my first week on Weight Watchers, I was under my points. Probably every day, like significantly under. My second week on Weight Watchers, I was suddenly starving and wanted to eat everything. And I think it was just my metabolism trying to balance itself out. And I told him that, I'm like, the second week you're on Weight Watchers, knowing that you're going to have this breakfast and you're going to have this lunch, you're going to want a little more food. So I will balance him out with that, and I will be his support system there. But having him doing this with me, you have no idea how excited I am that he's doing it, number one. But I was talking again to Amber today, and I said to her, I'm like, you know, oh my God, not only did he sign up for the app, but he tracked himself, like he did it. And he doesn't really like his phone and technology and all that stuff, but she said, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of him. And she said, I think the reason he's doing this is because he's so proud of you. He has said it so many times of how proud he is of you for sticking with this. So I think he's looking at it and going, all right, you're sticking with it. Amber has stuck with it for, God, she's got to be at least 2 or 3 months by now. Let's see, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December will be 7 months for me. The end of this, like around Christmas time, will be 7 months for me. And I will have lost 40 pounds by then. So, you know, it's working for us. I'm still a little gun shy about the new program, but I'm going to work it. I'm going to work it this whole month up through January at least. And if in January, you know, I've done really horrible because it's Christmas time coming, and let's be real. If I've gained or I haven't lost, then I may tweak it a little. I may have to start paying more attention to my serving sizes. And I think right now, it's like anything else where they said, you can have all the eggs you want, you can have all the chicken you want, you can have all the shrimp you want. And I think a part of me goes, oh, well, let me gorge myself on that. And I probably can. But I think that it'll equal out when I realize I don't really need this. I need to start feeling my body and knowing when I'm satisfied. I don't want any more food, and I'm not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm bloated and can't eat anything because I've eaten 6 pounds of shrimp. Now I could eat 6 pounds of shrimp, let me tell you. But anyway, so that's kind of one of the things I'm looking at too, is just really paying attention to my portion sizes and making sure I'm still, you know, getting the portions that I should be getting. But, you know, if I'm going to overeat, I'd rather overeat shrimp and healthy protein than chocolate or ice cream or something like that. So, you know, I think this is going to be good. And Friday night, I have really, other than our family gathering. So we have a family gathering Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, we don't really, I mean, the kids will come back and eat leftovers from Christmas Eve, but we don't really have like a big thing anymore. The kids come over in the morning, we open presents, and then they go on about their way because they have stuff to do all day. And we actually might go out visiting this Christmas, but just because we have never done that, because we've always had the youngest kids and now we don't. So, so that's the plan. Christmas Eve, I will probably overeat. I'll probably be over my points. Now, what I will say is this. Sunday is Christmas Eve. My points reset on Monday, Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve, I will have all of my weeklies that I've earned, plus my weeklies that I'm given anyway. And then Monday, I'll have the same. So we're going to have to play that one by ear. I would hope that Monday I do okay. But this coming Friday is the only day I have that's like a party, like a work party, and it's really just a gathering. So we're going to go to the Green Turtle, if you know what the Green Turtle is, and it's a restaurant bar, and we're going to go there, and basically you order off the menu and you pay for your own stuff, you pay for your own drinks. It's not like this is what's being supplied, so I can order whatever I want, but I also know there's a good possibility I may have a beer or two. So I'm going to factor that in. I'm just going to be really careful with my points on Friday. Plus I have some weeklies that I'm sure that I'll use, and I think I'll be fine, but I will keep you posted and let you know what we do. Tonight we're having shrimp fried rice, cauliflower rice, and with broccoli. I know it's weird, right? You're going to make the rice out of cauliflower and then have broccoli. That's kind of weird. But I'm going to put some onions in that, some peppers in that, some, probably I'll mix up some egg and put it in there, some teriyaki sauce, some shrimp, and that's what we're having. And gotta pick up Carly at 6. It's 4:35. Oh my God, I've been talking for almost 30 minutes. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. If I end up not making the shrimp fried rice, I will come back on and tell you what I'm eating. If I end up eating the shrimp fried rice, I will hopefully take a picture of it, and I'll also show you the picture of my day. I do have my Fitbit on today because we went to a field trip, I don't have very many points. I have like 7,000. So I probably won't get my 10 today. But anyway, hope you guys have a terrific Tuesday, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm trying to hurry up and get off of here. Please subscribe to my page, like my page, comment down below. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you're going to do to get through the holiday. Tell me their holiday traditions. I'm considering having a contest. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll do a New Year's contest. I haven't decided yet. Because everyone's doing kind of a Christmas giveaway. I was thinking about maybe doing a Valentine's Day one or a New Year's one. But, you know, I don't have that many followers yet, but we'll see. Anyway, YouTube, have a terrific Tuesday. Let me know what I can do to help you guys. I'm an open book. I'll answer anything you want. We'll talk.